Hello, I am Rabbi Sara, Paasche-Orlow, and Direct Spiritual Care at Hebrew Senior Life in Boston. And I'm happy to be joining you today to teach a little bit about a Midrash I found that has given me pause to reflect on where we are after a year of the pandemic. With so many deaths, more than 500,000 in our country, we've come close to experiencing, it seems, what the Egyptians might have experienced with the final plague. We've just had an unprecedented number of losses, and so many of us have gone through sickness and the loss of others we love. The 10th plague affected every Egyptian household equally, and the Midrash teaches us how no family escaped, the eldest son in every house. Whereas COVID deaths today are marked by extreme inequity, with a much bigger percentage of the elders who we care for in nursing and chronic care, as well as Black and Brown people among those who have suffered and have lost their lives. So I want to share a Midrash from Tanchuma Buber that responds to God causing this death of all the firstborns across the land, how people responded to this massive collective punishment. So we read in the Midrash that all the firstborn sons came together, and they went first to their fathers, and then they went to Pharaoh. And they cried out unto Pharaoh and said to him, "Please have this Jewish people leave, for because of them, evil will come over us and over you." And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Go get those people, beat them on their legs." And he drove them away. We know that God had hardened Pharaoh's heart against letting the Jewish slaves leave. And that's the narrative we take with us, right? God hardened Pharaoh's heart, and our people were not allowed to leave Egypt. Hearing in this Midrash the Egyptian children plead for their lives and be beaten back, it's clear that Pharaoh's heart was hardened also against the suffering of his own people. So too were the hearts of our leaders here in America this past year. The path out of this pandemic is through social cohesion, just as this Midrash tells us was done by the firstborns. Coming together is a critical first step, which is made harder by all people not being affected equally. In understanding the inequity of those who have lost their lives to COVID, the struggle for the health of elders cannot be separated from the struggle for the health of their caregivers, the frontline employees who have been here in the hospital where I'm sitting every day of this pandemic, putting themselves in harm's way to care for our elders, and yet not getting what they needed to remain safe. I mean, we did everything with PPE, but they went home to neighborhoods and families where not everyone could be safe. In hospitals and nursing homes, we came together to fight, but we haven't, as a country, gotten close to a unified response. It will take a growing collective spirit to end this plague. And also, we're going to need to address the root cause of this iniquity. It's not simply COVID, but rather the injustice in our society and healthcare system that's resulted in the deaths of our elders, and Black and Brown communities. COVID-19 has brought these inequities into sharp relief. Our experience of the 10 plagues this year will be different. Just as Pharaoh's heart was hardened and it resulted in the suffering of so many Egyptians, one in every household, so too the hearts of our leaders were hardened and allowed for the deaths of our grandparents and the great-grandchildren of former slaves. Our lack of social cohesion meant that we did not escape Egypt, and the cross-generational legacy of slavery and the current structural racism in America was laid bare. This year, we have learned that Paschal blood that is only on our lintels will not save us. We are in it together, and we will need to find solidarity across society to ensure that healthcare and well-being of all people. Only this will keep the angel of death from visiting our homes and the homes of the most vulnerable.